the answer is, I don't know.
That clip is from the movie Reality Bites, which is supposed to characterize the lives of Generation Xers. My guest today, a part of that generation born between 1960 and 1980. 25-year-old Frank McCune has an undergraduate degree from Arizona State University, a master's from Illinois State University. Frank is interning with Anderson Consulting. 33-year-old Tory Starbuck is a performance artist and a musician with a local band called Next Radio. 26-year-old Amy Nolman is a personal trainer at the Fitness Edge and an aerobics instructor at Providence Healthcare in Granite City. And 24-year-old Crystal Overstreet is a staff member of the Missouri Alliance for Choice, also a volunteer coordinator for Raven, a group that works to stop family violence. And I'd like to thank you all very much for joining me today. First of all, Frank, how do you feel about these negative stereotypes that the media so often uses to characterize your generation?
Well, I feel that it works against who we are as individuals in this grouping. We all represent a specific thing. We bring a specific talent to our generation, and yet we're characterized as one thing, that being slackers, or that being youth who have not quite figured out who they are yet in society, and so really don't have a place in society. And it really limits us in terms of what our dreams are and what our capabilities are and what we want to pursue right now.
What are your dreams personally?
Well, I think it's a couple of things. One, I'm interested in working hard in a career and in making a difference in a business component. And then down the road, perhaps, finding a niche in the business community where I can specialize in making things happen for big corporations, solving big corporations' problems.
And how much do you work?
I work between 50 and 70 hours a week right now, and probably will continue that and maybe work more than that down the road.
So what is a slacker? Everybody tosses that term around as though people from your generation are lazy. I assume that's what it means.
Right.
I mean, do any of you know? You're often called it.
I've never personally been called a slacker. I've heard the term slacker for people that are in the Generation X category. But whenever I think of slacker, it seems like almost like a panhandler. I mean, that's what I've always thought was, you know, that's a slacker, somebody that's not really interested in a career or working. And it has nothing to do with what career you're interested in.
Now, Tory, I understand as a performance artist and a musician that you would dress like this. But when you were in the newsroom yesterday as we were preparing for this show, I can't tell you how many people came up to me and said, you know, why is he dressed like that? With that tone of voice, you know, why is he dressed like that?
I mean, I grew up in the farmlands of Warrenton, Missouri, and, you know, in '78 is when I started wearing the makeup and using dye and stuff, and it seemed everybody else there was interested in partying. I don't want to categorize, say, everybody there, but most of the kids my age there was either sports for them to go into, partying, you know, this and that. It's like I wasn't able to date mainly because I looked different. Before that, I had the pink glasses and platforms, and I was always interested in girls, but, you know, not vice versa. It's like they weren't interested. So I found things to keep myself busy, and that was reading too much Dr. Seuss, listening to too much Bowie, and spending too much time in my mother's caboodle. So it was an art form to me.
Okay, and so you do this every single day?
Except Halloween. But, I mean, it's not my day to dress scary. But no, and the reason I do it is because the way that a shaman from ancient times or different countries practices a certain thing, for them magic is the same as Christianity is for other people. It's just an applying a will to something spiritual. And in the morning as I'm getting ready, it's the whole ritual of doing it. Because when I'm doing it, I'm thinking. You know, I'm like going through a process of thought.
Tell us what your 7 jobs are.
The paying jobs so that I can afford to do the music, and I have a cable TV show and a radio show, but that's all free. It's volunteer. So I work at Streetside Records. They were actually the first company to come and ask me to work for them. I mean, I've never had anybody come up and ask like that. And so that was cool. I work at a coffee house. It's a smart bar and a coffee house art gallery called Tricks and X, right next to Cheap Tricks. And I model, I'm a nude model for art classes all over college campuses, and occasionally play music at WashU for dance classes.
Do you ever feel like people get so distracted by the way you look that they don't get to know who you are and what you're about?
Well, sometimes, but I mean, that's part of my fault too, being a cancer. and sort of using the science of that thing. Characteristics, anyway. A lot of people think that certain signs have... one of mine is feeling sorry for myself to the point that if I got paid by the hour for it, I could pay your rent as well. The other thing is just being flamboyant, but I'd much rather be at home reading or doing something, but sometimes I feel I have to go out and do something. I think that's it. Okay. It's not meant to be a distraction, though.
Really?
No, it's like everything in my mind,
medium, so.
I'm trying to pull myself inside out, you know, show people that this is what's inside, and that's it.
Well, one thing I think everybody at home can understand easily is that we have 4 very different people here, all Generation Xers, and whether or not they like the term, that's what we have termed it. Amy, tell us about your educational background and what you do for a living.
Well, I went to SIU in Edwardsville, and I have my bachelor's in mass communication in television and radio. And right now, I'm a personal trainer at the Fitness Edge, and you know, like you said, I teach aerobics as well. And I have to say, I don't work that much. I mean, my hours are not that, but that's what I personally, you know, like. I like my free time.
So how much do you work?
Right now, about 18 hours a week.
And you still live at home?
Oh yeah, yeah. I live at home, so you know, I don't have any big expenses really, and you know, my social life is really important to me. You know, I have a lot of fun outside. I will never be a person that is like chained to a desk, you know, or anything like that. Not to say, you know, people that are at their desks, you know,
not even on fetish night, it's the other way.
Well, maybe on fetish night, but you know.
Are you ever criticized for it? I mean, do people think you're lazy because you only work 18 hours a week and yet you're...
People that know me, okay, people that know me know I'm not lazy.